You know, The Simpsons usually hits you with dysfunctional family vibes, awkward parenting, and the occasional saxophone solo. But this episode, it's a full-on military campaign. Welcome to Season 1, Episode 5, Bart the General. The one where Bart Simpson leads a child army to battle the school bully. Yes, that sentence is real. Yes, it aired in 1990. And no, we haven't talked about this enough. Let's storm the playground, dodge cupcakes, and dive into the chaos. Meet the bully, Nelson Muntz. Alright, let's set the scene. Lisa bakes cupcakes for her teacher because she's still in her wholesome baby genius phase. Bart defends her from Nelson, and boom, Bart gets himself on the wrong end of Nelson Muntz and his beatdown schedule. And let's be real, early Nelson, he's terrifying. No ha-has, no goofy one-liners, just a big kid with rage issues and a thirst for chaos. Bart tries to run, Bart tries to hide, but Nelson's goons are everywhere, and Springfield Elementary is basically a war zone. This is where the episode pivots from playground problem to military strategy simulation. Enter Grandpa and Herman, aka Chaos Uncles. Bart turns to the usual adult suspects, Homer and Marge, and they're absolutely useless. So he goes to Grandpa Simpson, who, surprise, is living in a retirement home, fighting his own battles with pudding cups and unpaid mail. Grandpa writes a strongly worded letter to TV, iconic, and then introduces Bart to Herman, a one-armed military surplus store owner who lives like the Vietnam War never ended. And here's where the episode goes off the rails in the best way possible. Herman gives Bart military lessons, strategy, discipline, structure. Before you know it, Bart's training a kid army in his backyard, complete with formations, drills, and water balloon grenades. We're talking full-blown war movie parody. This isn't just a joke. This is Apocalypse Now, but with slingshots and tricycles. The battle for the playground. The third act is straight up iconic. Bart and his squad ambush Nelson and his crew with cupcake bombs and sponge grenades. It's messy, it's loud. Cartoon violence at its finest. And it all ends with Bart calling for a ceasefire, demanding a peace treaty, and, this is real, shaking hands with Nelson while wearing a helmet. This is one of the first times The Simpsons show us how they do satire. It's not just slapstick, it's commentary on violence, bullying, and American conflict resolution, all through the eyes of a 10-year-old. And it still hits. Why this episode still rules. Here's why Bart the General deserves more love. Number 1. It's the first time Bart becomes a leader, not just a rebel. He organizes, plans, and actually fights back, using his brain, of course. Number 2. Lisa is the moral compass, even in the background. She doesn't support the war. She's not here for the violence, but she understands Bart. It's a subtle early glimpse at her empathy. Number 3. Herman. The weird military guy is one of those one-off Simpsons characters that leaves a permanent mark. He's ridiculous and unsettling, and his presence somehow works in this early, unpolished Springfield. This episode is chaos with a conscience. It lets Bart act out a fantasy, but ends with negotiation, not domination. That's the Springfield way. Alright, fun fact squad, assemble. Fun fact number 1. This episode was co-written by John Swartzwelder, the most prolific writer in Simpsons history, and the king of absurd but genius plots. This was one of his earliest masterpieces. Fun fact number 2. The original airing of this episode had a disclaimer at the end, warning kids not to try war tactics at home. Which is hilarious because most of this episode looks like it was written by a child who did try it at home. Fun fact number 3. Herman was supposed to become a reoccurring character, but he slowly vanished from the show. According to some behind-the-scenes commentary, they thought he was too intense for later seasons. Probably fair. Next episode, Lisa gets sad. And I mean sad, sad. We're talking saxophones, existential dread, and Bleeding Gums Murphy. That's right, it's Moaning Lisa. And if you thought today's episode was wild, just wait until we get into Simpsons jazz therapy. So hit that subscribe button like it owes you lunch money. And don't forget, when in doubt, soak the bully. This has been Bart the General. Peace, justice, and water balloons.